What's up, guys? Today I'm going to give you 3 simple strategies on how you can buy a house with no money, just like I did with this property here. Now, the American dream is to buy a house, pay down the balance, and as the property value increases over time, wealth builds with the equity. And this is a great strategy to use because as you get older, you're eventually going to want to stop working. And most people, when they stop working, their income goes down. And even if you have some sort of retirement in place, if your income goes down and you can't make your house payment, well, it's not really a great thing. Before I go any further, I just want to remind you guys to like and subscribe. It helps the algorithm and, well, it makes me feel good. Now, in a perfect world, you would, buy your primary house, you would live in that, and you would pay it down over time. But you would also be acquiring additional rental properties, and those rental properties will bring rental income. And the goal would be that these properties bring in enough rental income to cover all of your life expenses, so you don't have to work and you still have money coming in. And this is actually how people build security and wealth in real estate, and they're able to pay for the fancy cars and the jets and all the rad vacations and stuff. Don't worry, you'll get there. Now, one last reminder, if you're somebody interested in learning how to make money in real estate, I do have a course that teaches you how to do it. The second link in the description will get you information on that course. Okay, so here we go. Now, the very first way to buy a property with no money is called seller finance. And there are people across the country who have no mortgages on their property. And that means that they don't owe anybody anything and it is completely paid off. And a lot of times, these homeowners, they're highly incentivized to sell the property. Sometimes the property is vacant, other times they just want more money than the property is actually worth. And you can approach these sellers and you can offer them terms on their properties. Now, you might say something like this to a seller like that. Mr. Seller, I'm open to paying your asking price for the property, which appears to be much higher than the market's value. But in order for me to get you that number, I would really need great terms on the down payment and the payments themselves. And these terms, they might look like something like this: 0 down and a small fixed monthly payment on the amount that's being financed. The second way to buy a property with no money is to use state or city grants. And believe it or not, there's actually loan programs out there that are created for first-time home buyers, and they will actually cover the cost of the down payment. And sometimes it will even cover the closing costs. And I'll give you an example. California has a program they do every year. It's called the Dream for All program. And in the Dream for All program, it's designed specifically to help people buy properties who don't have any money. In order to qualify, you have to take an online class and get pre-approved by a mortgage broker or a lender. It's not really that big of a deal. To see if you're eligible for this type of program or one in your state, just reach out to any reputable mortgage broker or lender and see what's available in your state. Now, the third way to buy a property with no money is called subject to. And subject to just basically means that when you buy someone's property, you're going to do it in a way to where you just take over the payments on their current mortgage. In this scenario, the title of the property, which basically just means the ownership, gets transferred to you and you literally just start making the payments right where the previous owner left off. And you might ask, why in the world would somebody want to do something like this? Well, that's a great question. And there's actually a lot of great reasons. The most common is when somebody has a negative equity situation. Now remember, when you sell a property, it actually costs money to do that. And the average cost to sell a property is 8% of the sale price. That means if you want to sell a house for $100,000, it's going to cost you $8,000 to sell because of closing costs and agent fees. And some people don't have 8% equity in their property. So if they were going to sell the property using a traditional finance method, they'd actually lose money and they'd have to write a check to sell it. That's no bueno, dude. These are great potential properties to focus on when buying this type of strategy, a negative equity situation. Now, with all 3 of these strategies, there may be some costs involved. Things like appraisals or closing costs and sometimes transfer taxes and those types of things. And to cover those costs, if you have 0 money, and this is not financial advice, you could potentially cover them with a credit card, or maybe you could borrow money from a friend or family, or maybe even a private money lender. Especially if it's an investment property, you can bring them in on the deal. A lot of times you can get funding that way. If you're interested in learning about these types of strategies or how to make money in real estate, I want to remind you that the second link in the description down below will get you to my website where you can get some information on my 26 lesson video course. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. God bless.